rise. Commissioner Honor.
Father, we seek your wisdom daily. Labor Day is the time to honor and appreciate the hard work of people in different jobs. It's not just about working 8 hours, it's about treating everyone fairly, no matter what their background or job. Their hard work and dedication has helped to build our nation. We ask that you draw them near, or draw near to all of them during the holiday. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of preparing accurate written minutes. Recordings are overwritten following approval of the minutes, eliminating all unofficial records of these proceedings. Your first item is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held August 22nd, 2024.
Motion with the change.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes. I do know we do have some guests here concerning county business, which we will handle throughout the agenda. But are there any other guests here concerning county business? Hearing none?
Okay, our next item is the public hearing for the 2024 ESG grant application. And it's for your consideration, an application for the 2024 ESG program to be filed with the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development on behalf of Family Promise of Carbon County in the amount of $80,000. The $80,000 is broken into $60,000 for operations and $20,000 for essential services. It should be noted that Family Promise has guaranteed to match the grant to dollar for dollar, $80,000. Along with that, with the notice for the public hearing, we received 2 email comments. Both emails were forwarded on to Kathy Lamb, Executive Director of Family Promise, and she responded to both questions. And both individuals, Kim Pelleccia and Sandra Prythurch, are in support of the application for funding. So at that, I'd like to ask Kathy to come up and have a seat and give us a little overview of the application and what Family Promise intends to serve the community with.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Family Promise intends to use the monies. I know that on the surface, $60,000 for operations sounds like a lot of money, and it is. In operations, how they break it down would be our utilities, insurances, food for our guests, fuel, and transportation costs. The other $20,000 would go to our case management services that we provide. Last year we served 134 individuals. This year so far, since January to date, we've served 115. We have a very long waiting list. We currently at the shelter have 8 families and 28 people. 14 of those people are children under the age of 14. Any questions for me?
Any questions?
No questions?
No, I'm good.
Just a comment, thank you for the great job that you do and all your volunteers and everyone involved in Family Promise. And I certainly would encourage anyone to, if they would like to contribute, to get a hold of Kathy and contribute to the community or to the program, and Family Promise. And are the churches still taking people in at times, or?
I know we are just a static site shelter there. Eventually, we're going to expand, but right now, everybody who is in our program stays within our shelter. We have 8 bedrooms, and 8 bedrooms are filled.
Maybe, if you could give a brief history of Family Promise and how it first started.
Sure. In 2009, Family Promise was started in Carbon County. They used a rotational model where families that were experiencing homelessness would go to a day center in Lehighton, and then various churches would open their space for families to sleep at different churches, one church a week. During COVID, I think a lot of people have changed the way that they've done business and found that their things didn't work as well. In 2021, our current building, it was a former St. Francis of Assisi church and rectory. It was purchased in 2022. We opened our static site there. In 2023, early 2023, when I came on board, we also began serving single women as well as families. That's our history.
Thank you.
The only thing I'd like to say is, obviously, we're gonna be voting on both of these, and it's often said, you know, what does the county do for homeless? And this is obviously part of where the county working together with organizations like Family Promise and helping to secure grants and letting them do their business and us help that. That is a way that the county does try to reach out and have a very good working relationship. And I do want to personally thank Kathy and her entire staff for all they do for Carbon County. It's many times forgotten about, but when we need them, and actually right now Kathy's not only doing this, but she's heading up the homeless task force
In my spare time.
in her spare time. So Kathy's very busy, and I thank her personally and on behalf of the commissioners for all you do.
Okay,
Anything else?
okay, so our first item relative to the ESG grant is adoption of resolution number 24027, authorizing the filing of the application for funding.
Motion to adopt the resolution.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
And the next item that goes along with the filing is execution of the statement of assurances for the 2024 ESG grant.
Motion approved and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Good to go.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Okay, so our next item is the report of executive sessions held.
There was one held on Friday, August 23rd at 10 a.m., and that was to discuss personnel reasons.
Okay, next item, department reports, the budget transfers.
Motion approved.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
There are no supplemental appropriations. Expenditures, approval of payroll check numbers 76187 through 76210, and direct deposit check numbers 6067884 through 6068332 for the payroll paid through the payroll fund checking account for all county funds totaling $682,890.73. This is the payroll dated August 23rd, 2024.
Motion to ratify.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Approval of check numbers 245669 through 245759 for expenditures to the general fund clearing account totaling $355,677.11.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
The treasurer's report.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
The personnel report for county departments.
Motion approved.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
The acknowledgements for courts and row offices.
Motion acknowledged.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
There is no correspondence received. Children and Youth Needs-Based Plan for approval and execution. Carbon County Children and Youth Services Needs-Based Plan and Budget for fiscal year 2025, 2026, totaling $9,243,828.
Motion approved and accepted.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
The courthouse, a proposal from McCose Brothers Construction LLC of Albrightsville, Pennsylvania, for repairs to the courthouse bell tower roof and floor at a total cost of $1,500.
Motion, second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Courts, for approval and execution. A quote was received from GovConnection Incorporated of Merrimack, New Hampshire for the purchase of 4 Microsoft Surface Pro tablets and peripheral for the Ford Magisterial District Court offices at a total cost of $7,703.84. $6,135.49 will be funded by the fiscal year 2024 AOPC security grant, and $1,568.35 will be funded by the court general funds. This is CoStar's agreement number 003 E22574.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Liquid Fuels, Bridge number 3. A proposal from United Inspection Services of Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania for collection of concrete for core sampling totaling $2,600.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Bridge number 3, the concrete testing. Proposal from R.J. Lee Group of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for testing of the concrete cores from East Penn Street Bridge, Lehighton. The sample needs to be analyzed for a alkali-silica reaction, which will determine bridge replacement or refurbishment. The cost estimate totals $2,433.
Motion approved.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Planning and Development for approval and execution. Revision request number 6 to the CDBG program fiscal year 2022, contract number 86225 for Lehighton Borough. This is revision, revision 3. It should be 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we correct that to revision number 3, please?
Yes.
Okay, revision number 3, CDBG contract 86225, fiscal year 2022, moving $24,957.40 from Lehighton Borough, 135, 139 North First Street demolition projects to street improvements, North Main Lane, fiscal year 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
The solicitor's report?
Thank you. First, for the correctional facility, seeking a motion for approval and execution of a memorandum of understanding between the Carbon Career and Technical Institute and the County of Carbon to provide ABE and career pathways educational services to criminal offenders to attain a high school equivalency diploma at the Carbon County Correctional Facility. Services are provided at no cost to the county. Funding is to be secured by CCTI through Lehigh County Community College from the Pennsylvania Department of Education Act 231 Federal Literacy Grant for the period August 6, 2024 through June 30th, 2025.
Motion approved and execute.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Also for the correctional facility, seeking a motion for approval authorizing the solicitor, me, to obtain a contract from ViaPath upon research of the federal lawsuit where ViaPath is a defendant.
Motion approved with some discussion.
Second?
I just want to give a little bit of a history. This is for the history of the tablet. The prison board has been ongoing on this issue for years. When it started off, there were gonna be docking stations and shared tablets. Last month's presentation, the proposal we're voting on today has changed a little bit. The discussion has evolved into 100% of the inmates having a device with access 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to their cells. Included is only 10 hours of monitoring weekly. So what's happening to the other 74 hours of the week? A lot can happen unmonitored within 3,848 total hours throughout the year. Don't forget, there are inmates in Carbon County facility that have drastically affected the lives of others by bodily harm, home invasion, and even murder. With the ongoing staff issues in all departments, this is not a tool for ongoing investigations. This is a perk for inmates that some Carbon County citizens do not even have at their home. I believe 100% in rehabilitation, but rehabilitation starts with combating addiction and mental issues through Carbon County, Carbon Monroe Pike programs, not by watching paid channels. Thank you.
Would simply add to that, that the couple of the existing companies do have federal lawsuits against them. So keep that in mind as well, and I agree with Commissioner Arner here on this issue. But yeah, yes, we're just a little bit, let's call for a vote.
I just think it's time that we put this issue to rest. Obviously, I wasn't here for all the discussions, just the end discussion, and it's time to vote and put it to rest.
Mr. Honor?
No.
Mr. Notstein?
No,
Mr. Sifranco?
No.
Okay, and next, under real estate, seeking a motion for approval of an agreement between the Borough of Lehighton and the County of Carbon to allow the borough to engage a licensed Pennsylvania surveyor to enter upon the property identified as parcel ID number 83B-38-A68A, formerly known as Packerton Yards, for the purpose of obtaining a survey preliminary to a proposed subdivision and transfer of 23 acres of the said property to the Borough of Lehighton.
Motion approved.
second, just for clarification, this is only the property that is located in Lehighton Borough at the borough line, which is approximately right about Carbon Alley, which they just repaved this week, is right before you get into the Jamestown dip there is where the approximate property line between Mahoning Township and Lehighton Borough.
For the benefit of everyone, this agreement had been signed originally 5-6 years ago. This is basically just updating that, updating times, dates, some other things in there. It was no major changes that we're aware of, I mean, that I'm aware of. It's just kind of a pass-through. But to kind of get everything online, and Lehighton looking to obviously begin to move on this and start a process down there. We just wanted to get everything dated and taken care of by all three commissioners here. There's no real change there, but we do, I personally, and on behalf of the board, wish the Lehighton Borough best of luck with all of this, and hopefully they can continue to move forward for them. I realize it's a pretty big lift, but I have faith in the council that they will do something. Call the vote?
Okay. Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes,
Mr. Sifranco?
Yes.
Nothing further for the solicitor's report.
Any further business?
No, I just want to wish everybody a good holiday, all our employees. They're worth it. Thank you.
That's your report, Mr. Honor?
Yes. I think I said enough on the
Okay.
one vote.
Mr. Notstein?
yes. A happy holiday weekend and be safe. That's all.
Mr. Sifranco?
Two things. One is enjoy your holiday weekend. Thank you all for that. I'd like to thank the commissioners. As you see by some votes here today, all three of us are working in the best interest of the county. It's not often that you see that, but I do thank us all. While we may have some discussions on the other side of this door, we come here very well prepared and ready to vote accordingly, and I compliment both of my colleagues for working at that. And then finally, I know there was a question in the back a couple weeks ago about where we are with the railroad crossing. I'm sure you have seen that work has begun and is steadily progressing as they work through that. And I would like to personally thank the railroad because I've noticed they are doing the work in the evening. So anyone who comes through Jim Thorpe, and that has helped tremendously with the traffic and the backup. Maybe a little bit at the beginning of the day till they get cleaned up, but that has been a huge help in dealing with that. So we thank the railroad in that for upholding that. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Meeting adjourned. We'll go to TV 13 first. All right, you're done. I don't get that long.
Thank you, oh, thank you, my God, thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too. No?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, very good. Amy,
Good morning, Kelly.
see, she's ready.
I scribble what I need to. With regards to the courthouse bell tower roof floor, what kind of repairs will they be needing to do there?
It's just like a rubber roof inside, and there's open windows, and that's been an issue before we started the project, and we patched it, and now we're getting somebody actually in to put a rubber roof on that instead of just patching it.
I think with the construction project and opening up the ceilings and everything, when you get a good look at these things, you don't realize you have a problem until you open up the walls. and
Yeah,
that.
until you see
We
the-
certainly don't wanna ruin
Yeah.
new ceilings being put in and have to go back, so, yeah, it's a necessary fix.
Speaking of renovations, how's the courthouse going?
Very good. As of yesterday, we are on schedule. We are within budget, actually doing well with that. We're hitting all the timelines that we're there. We're getting down to where things get a little touchy here because there's a lot of work that's going on up in the attic area. And you'll be seeing where they'll be lifting new air conditioning units and things in there. So there's where we're going to be keeping our fingers crossed. Am I correct?
Well, as, yeah,
Keeping our fingers crossed, because that's where it gets touch and go, and that's where some decisions by the board and the contractors and all are gonna have to be made in a very timely manner in case we've missed anything. So if anybody knows who to pray, do some praying, because that's about where we're gonna need it.
And what was the official end date projected originally?
Originally, it was,
officially, yeah, back in February.
Oh,
March.
yeah,
It would be
officially
next-
it would have been 18 months, so if they started it
Yeah.
like in January, probably would have been like May
May,
or
maybe.
June, yeah.
of next
Yes,
of next year,
year.
of next year,
Yeah.
not this year, of next
Yeah.
year.
The other
2025.
issue that should bring up as well is there will be a electrical shutdown coming up, was that Monday and Tuesday? They will be setting a new pole in Packer Hill there. The courthouse will be on generator, with the new generator and everything, but we will have a shutdown. They'll set a new pole and putting new transfers in, switches in, and be connecting the new wiring, so I'd say that just so that people are aware, early next week, we will have some inconvenience on Packer Hill here.
And kind of add to that, that's at no cost to the county, and it's not the county's, we've handled our shutdown. This is all basically PP&L who is setting this up. So the county had no control over that part of PP&L.
Okay, thank you. With regards to the bridge number 3, is this the bridge that you guys patched earlier this year in Lehighton?
I'll give that to Mr. Arner.
Yeah,
So
He's
he's
been,
stuck in your truck?
Yes.
Okay. And I see you have it's either determined replacement or refurbishment.
Well, and that's what that is, the core samples are taken to see how far, maybe it's not destroyed within, but we gotta do that actually to apply to PennDOT. So that's one of the requirements, we gotta do it to get that money that we're looking for.
Okay, thank you. With regards to you guys voting no on the via path, how long has this been going? You said for
Years.
years.
Oh my God, it's,
5, 6 years at
it,
least.
well, it's
Or
been,
more.
well, it probably was before, but I'm here 4.5 years and I think it's been going on
Before
since
that,
then.
yes.
And it's just like there's issues here and issues there, and it's like there's no, I mean, even before some of the other people came in, there was discussion like, the other elected officials even had questions, and first of all, they were gonna have docking stations that they were gonna come out to, and now, like you see there, it evolved to everyone in the prison that's getting a device. And, I mean, I just don't, I see it, things happening that shouldn't be happening. And like I said, I believe in rehabilitation, but I think there's different ways of doing it. And if they had them docking stations, that they had a room where they could go in, that it could be monitored, but that 10 hours a week is nothing. I mean, like I said, there's 72 hours, and you could be watching one person, 4 or 5 people that maybe they think it's connected to a drug deal, that they could be making phone calls, but they could be making other phone calls with the other 130 inmates, on their calls to pass, messages on. So it's just it's not secure for me, and like I said, visitation rights, and there's people that are in there for DUIs, they need help, or, drug addiction, or even mental health issues. It's just one of them things. I mean, I think it's gonna get worse without monitoring it, and I said it was supposed to be in a secured area on the first, discussions that we had, and now all of a sudden, every inmate, and when I first came in, there were 265 inmates in the prison. Right now, there's 135. So we're doing something right here. The courts, they're getting people help. So something's happening. I'm just afraid that it's gonna ruin what has been done now, just by not being as secure. And there were some where they presented to us. There were some issues where I seen where there might have been inappropriate pictures or something between family members that might get through them, and we can't have that. I mean, compassion for everybody, and we want to help everybody, but you're there for a reason. It's not a country club. It's where we want to rehabilitate you and help you out, but some you just can't help.
Yeah, I think there's benefits with the.
Oh yeah, there's.
There's some benefits in keeping the inmates occupied, and communications with family, but I think we all feel the same, that the downside is the problem, and, it's not beneficial enough, in my opinion, to justify it.
And just real, and I think that because both commissioners were here obviously much longer, I get a pass a little bit, but not really. But there's valid points on all of that. But one of the biggest point is obviously it has to be put to rest. There has to be a decision made. And we took all of that into factor. And then there's also a huge lawsuit that's hanging out there that involves a lot of these tablets, a lot of what's going on. And to continually spend county resources researching those. I mean, I think one answered letter was about, 55 pages?
Yes, there was a federal RICO lawsuit that was filed in Maryland, and it was evidently an amended complaint was just filed naming Global Tel-Link, which is affiliated with ViaPath. In fact, ViaPath is a subsidiary, I guess, for lack of a better word, of Global Tel-Link. And I'm vaguely aware that the FCC issued some kind of a ruling on the caps for different services that they can charge, and counsel for ViaPath and Global Tel-Link did contact the FCC on August 20th, and it was a 55-page letter asking for clarification of those rules. So I wanted to sort through all that before we even get to the contract itself, and the last couple of contracts that I reviewed required substantial revisions, so I just wanted to see what the general consensus was before we invest that kind of time into a legal review of all those different aspects, and there are several other legal aspects of that contract too, so.
So I think in reference to what Commissioner Arner, and then you take that into mind, it's constantly spending county resources. is what it's about here, and we're not gonna have the solicitor dig into some, we're not gonna get involved in another lawsuit. We can do that on our own.
So does this officially put this action to bed, like you aren't going to?
I would say in the
pursue
immediate
further?
future, yes.
Okay. And currently at the prison, do they have access to outside like devices and everything, or
Well,
would this have just been that?
we put them polycoms on that they could, like if children and youth would be, if the kids would be there, they could visit with whoever would be, if it would be a parent. So there's ways of getting it, they can still make phone calls. It's just like the thing about it, like on the list, you look like there's games they could play, Candy Crush. And, whatever it is, there's like a whole, there's a whole thing. And one of the last sentences or paragraphs I think that I saw like in the contract, it's up to the individual inmate to pay or possibly the public. And I don't know if you've seen that, Bob, too, but it's in there. So where does it come to? And if there's ongoing investigations and they're only doing that 10 hours, what is it gonna cost us to keep investigating for people that are on the phone or on these devices that could actually be in drug deals? It's gonna wind up costing the public more. And that's what I said. If it was something that was 100%, it was monitored and it was the same price and we're making money and it's fine, but like I said, I don't think we have the staff to follow it either, We straighten things out at the prison that it's going very well. But I think this is gonna be another burden on the guards.
And I think to try to answer your question a little bit is there a law library available? Yes. I mean, all that
Yes.
research that is needed at the county, that anyone that wishes to it's there, so they can do all of that. You just saw today, prior to this vote, where we entered an agreement with the Carbon Career and Technical Institute to provide further education, GEDs, and did that tablet also provide that? Yes. So I mean, we've kind of made sure that what the tablet would have provided. There's also now there's some other fringe benefits that came with the tablet that will not be there, but that had nothing to do overall with inmate. That had to do with some things that would help the maybe watching security. But as Commissioner Arner said, there's a gap in that time that is a concern of the commissioners.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then one last thing, with regards to Packard and Yards thing. So 23 acres are going to Lehigh. How many is left under the county's control then? How many acres?
For
Is
sale.
Is it 40 yet, or?
Yeah,
I think it
it's
was
40
like
some odd
70,
acres, yes.
I think it's
Yeah,
75 total or something like that.
Yeah, at least
Yeah.
40 acres, I think.
Yeah, it's
For the
fine.
record, that is still for sale.
That was
Yes.
my next question.
Yes.
For sale.
So it is for sale. If somebody.
What did I hear you offer right now?
Yeah, and that, the piece that Lehighton is acquiring, a lot of it's in floodplain. It's between the river and the railroad. Till you put an access road in, there's not much space for anything down there. You couldn't really build anything. We have no need for it, but, and I would suggest you contact the borough for their intent. I don't wanna get into their.
Obviously, you're
program or
not a
what
real
they're
estate agent, by the way.
That's what he's
I think
getting.
it should be.
He's
I want
going,
it to be at one.
he's going to get certified.
It's a great piece of property.
But the other section is still up for sale
Yes.
if anybody's
Yes.
interested.
Yes.
And it might help us out a little bit by sort of getting that
I think
flood zone.
I think just recently we had something come across, somebody had offered an
Yeah,
unbelievably
we had-
low number.
People are looking again.
Yeah.
There's always somebody looking, and that's a good thing. But
The
that,
problem is the access, getting across the railroad and dealing with all the regulations with PennDOT and the township.
he's not on our real estate board. So.
That pushes them
I don't
away.
get anything out of it.
It's a great piece of property.
And I think that is it, then thank you very much, Sherman.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Or I think Rachel
And
might have
in
something
the back, I
now.
don't know if any, I do know that
Ready
Jill.
now, she got her thoughts together.
Jill is in
Ready.
the back. Do you have
We're
any?
ready.
Well, before, do we have anything, Jill, that you need to add, or from Children and Youth? Jill, do you have anything from Children and Youth, or?
I just had some remarks about the budget. but-
Sure, there you go. We appreciate that, because I think we kind of skimmed through that, but go ahead.
We did see a decrease in the budget request for next year, because we have 20 children less placed. We see the decrease in placement because we had 5 adoptions, and we had 12 children age out of care. They are now responsible adults on their own. We are using more money in prevention dollars, so more grant money, so we're using it for truancy elimination meetings, so hopefully they're happening in the school level and out in the community with our contracted services and not coming to our agency for that level. We've increased our evidence-based programming, family group decision-making, and MST, multi-systemic therapy, so that we're offering more services to families in their home before we're looking at placement of children. So we're glad we have a decrease in the budget because we're doing good things in prevention for those placements. And the other things we're asking for is of course, raises and replacing old computers and focusing on recruiting new staff to fill those vacancies because we are at half staff right now. So,
How many vacancies do you have yet?
17.
Yes. So, anyone looking for a job,
Has a
Paul
bachelor's
Cheryl,
degree or an
she'll tell
associate's
you how to
degree
get your
with 2 years' experience in the field. Yes, we are.
civil
Desperately.
service positions, so, if you have any interest, especially if you're local, Carbon County, don't wanna drive far, you know, we are looking, it's a constant ongoing issue for children and youth, and it puts a burden on all the other caseworkers because of being overwhelmed, and, last thing we want is to have a child slip through the cracks.
Always, and we're always looking for loving foster homes as well, if anyone wants to open their home to an at-risk youth. We have applications for foster homes, and we'd be willing to consider anyone. Thank you.
Any questions for Phil?
Chair, just, if I remember correctly, you did there's a live stream on Facebook with us?
Yes, from Tuesday,
Yes.
talking about the budget, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh,
so-
now you have
No,
questions.
I didn't. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what this Via Path situation is. So, I do have a couple questions about that. So, has the county been using Via Path this whole time up till now, or is this
No.
a request
No.
for this
New
No.
program.
new program? All right, and you're okay, and we're not wanting it. You mentioned something about 10 hours. I'm confused as to what that's in reference
They'll
to.
monitor the system, like if
Via
there's,
Path will?
yes, they will monitor it themselves. And then, and the way I understand, they would give a report. What winds up happening, I think the report would come the next day. Well, there could be an incident and already the infraction could be done by the time we get the report. You know, and that's what I think the thing that none of us agreed on because it's not secure, you know, not secure enough for us, you know, to move forward with it, you know. And like, I think we'd all agree, it could help, you know, with rehabilitation, but you have to have security. I mean, the 3 of us, if we go up to the prison, we have cards that we can get in these buildings and stuff. We can't get into prison, you know, and that's how secure it is. So how do we just let anybody do what they want, you know, with these devices? And it's like, I mean, you're not letting them do what they want, but there's so much time that they could, you know. We've already had people in the prison that were in for hacking, you know, and this would probably be a piece of cake for somebody that's in the prison that's a hacker. I mean, they could probably connect to the other devices. I mean, there's smart people out there that were locked up in our prison at one time.
How do you monitor 135 inmates at the same time?
Yeah.
And only put 10 hours in? What, even if it's 10 hours a day that they can be on?
So is-
And how do you monitor it?
So would it be a tablet for everyone or one?
Exactly.
Well, that's
No,
what they
one
wanted
for
to do
one.
now.
It would be one for one. Before it was like them wall mounted that they'd have, and then there would be and I don't know. I thought it started off was it 40 that were shared. You know, like maybe one person got it one day and then another day, and it was like that. And this last presentation, and I don't know what's going to happen now. We have 135. What if it happens to go up to 140? Now, or 150 or 160, who's going to pay for that? You know, it's probably going to wind up that it's going to be an extra charge to the public. You know, there's really nothing defined on next steps, what would happen.
And would the county have had to pay for these tablets initially?
No,
No, they
but
supplied them.
yeah, and there was a fee, and I think there was a fee that we were going to get money and not, or people, the inmates weren't going to get charged as much. or they, what was it, 22 cents, and then they reduced it down to 21, so that was a little vague too, you know, and I think that might even be going back to the lawsuit, that there was like nothing really defined on what the charging fees were.
And was it 10 hours a day or a week, and was that for
No, a
each
day, they
shift?
would have it from possibly from 8 AM in the morning.
No,
So-
but you mean the monitoring though?
Oh, the
Yes,
monitoring,
Yes.
well, that, oh, I don't know when they monitored, I think that might have been up to the warden, or, you know, or maybe even the district attorney, you know, are they looking for certain people to make phone calls? I don't know how they were gonna determine that.
Calling rate reduced to 21 cents a minute to the inmates.
Yeah,
And let's see,
I don't know if it's,
I'm trying to find the, how it states, I think it was it a week? I think it was a week.
oh yeah, it was 10 hours per
10
week,
hours
yeah,
per
it was
week,
10
yeah.
hours a week that they're doing it.
Yeah.
I
So
think
that's
they,
not a lot of hours.
And that's what I said, you have 74 hours that they could still, that's unmonitored, you know, and like I said, they could be watching one person for 10 hours. You know, I don't know how they were determining that, you know, and like I said, I don't know if that's between the district attorney, you know, if there's an investigation, or the warden, maybe they get something, you know, because there's certain like words that it gets picked out that are code names for, you know, dealing drugs. So it would probably pick up on that. So if it's one inmate, that it picks up on one or two, so they're watching one or two inmates, and the other 133 can almost do whatever they want. You know that nothing's going to get picked up on that. I don't think so. I mean, I don't, you know, and that's what I said. It just wasn't secure enough.
And what was the purpose of these tablets? Because I was looking it up, and they were talking about educational purposes. You were talking about they could play games on them. So are they just to fill their free time?
Well,
I think it depends on the visitation, because you always have people, you gotta bring the inmate out to visitation and all that. It would be easier supposedly for the inmates to, connect with their attorneys. Some of the, things that, you know, inmate calling using the telephone platform, video visitation, Visit Now video, you can streaming live music, messaging app, introduction app, info, inmate grievance app, inmate request, commissary app so they can order online, law library, ebook service, game center, entertainment app, movie app, photo app, inmate account info app, you know, calculator app.
and even like the app for, like, you're talking about ordering food. Does our food service even have the capacity to actually even accept that? You know what I mean? Does their system take that in? Like, each individual could alter their meal for the day. So I don't even know, that might be even another expense through our food service. You know, there's so much involved there. And I mean, I'm pretty blunt with things. I said, when people come in and they want to give us a service, they don't walk in every day. I mean, they come in and say, well, we really want to help Carbon County out. They're coming in here to make money. And until it's defined on what's going to happen here, I'm not voting for it. You know what I mean? And like I said, rehabilitation is another thing, but having a system that comes in here that isn't secure, that's a problem.
Thank you. That's all I have.
You're trying to get us in trouble, right, by saying something different?
The only thing I think all those points are very good points, and those are points that needed to be made, and that's where the discussion came. But I think the overwhelming issue here is there's a federal lawsuit here. And that is something that does not make financial sense for Carbon County to get involved in. You can debate tablets, and we all have our personal opinions, and there's pros and cons to it. And Commissioner Arner and Knudsen have expressed very well the concerns the commissioners have. But I think the number one in the story is that there's a federal lawsuit involved with this company, and it's something that Carbon County does not need to be involved in right now, and that is what we're looking out for, is the taxpayer. And we can find our own lawsuits without any help. We don't need to go out and hire one. And I think that that's the biggest issue we had with this is the fact of the amount of research and that we'd have to do furthering that. So for, at this time, and that's not the only company that's involved. Bob has, there's lists, it just keeps going on. So until that all gets satisfied, it's just best at this time that we put the tablet issue to rest until some of that shakes out at the higher courts and with much larger counties that have the resources to debate that. And then we'll, you know, then that's where that's at. But for right now, it's a done issue. Okay? Anything further? Thank you all. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend.